All praise, honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash, the Buhana, to the elders and the apostles of the Kingston who do well and who tout us this truth, which is 100% truth, according to the script. Peace, blessing, and salutation to the Akiamua pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, to hasten the day of our Lord. So in today's lesson, I'm going to touch on the second war, which the second war, it was by design, starting by the Japanese, the so-called Japanese attacking the Pearl Harbor. You see, all the way to the American making the first nuclear bomb and dropping it to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You see, it was all by design. Esau withdrew Rodney to WW2, and one of his purpose was America to come in power and take control over the whole race, starting by creating the nation of Israel, the fake nation of Israel was there in the Middle East, because Esau, or it is a known fact, not only Esau, all of these nations, they know if you control the Middle East, you control the earth, because then you go back to history. The Middle East, that was the land of Shem, and to the three sons of Noah, Shem got the best part of the inheritance. Why? Because first of all, the Middle East, or that area over there, it was referred to as the fertile crescent. You see, and you have those three rivers. So, in terms of trade and accessibility of different geographical location on this yes, the Middle East is the best place. If you want to have good economy, accessibility, easy accessibility to the different parts of the earth, and again the Middle East is a strategic area, because there is a lot of traffic there in the Middle East, a lot of traffic in terms of trade, or when we talk about traffic, we refer to both land, air, and water. If we want to go to places, different places here on Earth, 80% of those places you need to pass to the Middle East by air, and by water. If you want to go to the Far East, or you wanted to go to Eastern Europe, or you want to go Australia or east side of Africa, you need to pass to the Middle East. And for people from the Far East, if they want to go to the West, they pass mainly they pass through the Pacific, but sometimes they can pass through the Indian Ocean, then to the horns of Africa, to the Latin America. Those Chinese you see in the Latin America, they took that route. So the Middle East is a very, very important place. That's why you see every nation which comes to power and be a superpower, the first thing they said their dominance over them in the Middle East. You see, so during World War II first, it was aimed for America to take control in the stead of Britain, because when America came to power, the British government was in control back then. You see, so after that, America came to power by taking down three nations predominant, and those three nations include France, Spain, and Britain itself. But Britain was on top, which was a superpower at that time. And Germany, when you go back to history, the Nazi Germany, they wanted to take the place which Britain had. That's why Hitler came to power, and the Third Reich of Germany, they were using Hitler to spread their influence and to make war over there on Europe. And another thing, Germany wanted to take revenge to these fake Jews. Why? Because when you go to World War I, Germany lost that war, and there was a sentiment to the people of Germany that they lost that war because of the Jews. And after World War II, we came into what we call the Great financial collapse to ever happen over the face of the earth. And Germany was one among the top nations which were in debt, man. People used it to carry a lot of money just to go on the market to buy some tomatoes and the onion, and a lot of money on a briefcase to buy. You see, so it was that financial collapse was heavy on Germany, and Hitler came to power. That's where Hitler came to power, man. First of all, Hitler was a criminal, if I'm not mistaken. So he started his campaign. He wrote books. He wrote postcards on how he will bring back the economy, and he pointed to the German people who was the real enemy. The real enemy were the fake Jews, the Amalekites. They have always been the problem here on earth. So Hitler knew who is the real enemy. From that, Hitler rose in power. In his campaign, he used to write postcards. He spread those postcards to schools, to little kids, telling them that we are in this condition because of the Jews. He instilled that hatred to the German against the Jews. So Hitler rose in power. After Hitler rose in power, at that time, when other nations were struggling, America was the best nation. In fact, America was the lender. They used to lend people money during this financial collapse. The Bank of America and the Federal Reserve and these other banks, they lent money to Britain and this other country. See, so that was a roadmap for America, if we will, for America coming to power. And throughout history, when another nation wanted to replace another nation to be a superpower, war must happen. So that was the case when we came out of World War I. America starting to rise as a star nation, as a bright star among the nations. That's when America started to rise, and on the other hand, Germany also wanted to be on top. So it was a war between Germany America, America with Britain, Spain, and this other European country, while Germany, they had Italy and Japan, while Russia, you know Russia throughout history, Russia don't have much involvement in this world affair up until after World War II, going back to the Cold War. You see, so that's where the buffer declaration come in. You see, Hitler, he came victory against the Britain government, and up until the bomb of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were dropped, Hitler had his submarine surrounding Britain. So the British government have to enter, you see, into an agreement with the Americans. The American forced them, because at that time the Middle East is there over Israel. It was called the Palestina, country. It was the country where the Palestinians used to dwell. It was Palestina. That's why this Edomite, they call them patriarch. They call that the land of Palestine. If you have seen some videos on YouTube, at that time Britain colonized that area. You call it Israel today, in the Palestine. So they had to come to an agreement to create the nation of Israel there on the Middle East, so America can help them against Hitler. And at that time there was a quest on who will be the first to produce this dangerous weapon, nuclear weapon. So America came out first before Germany. So America, after came out first, they told the British government, don't worry, we will help you. We will fight for you against Germany. You need to sign this so-called buffer declaration. You see? So that's why we tell you America is a corporation, man. That was a direct order from the Rothschild, because the Rothschild are the one who owns the Federal Reserve. And at that time, when all these other nations were struggling, the Federal Reserve used to give them money under the guise of American government. But the Federal Reserve was a private bank at that time. So these other nations, to be technical, they were given those money with the central bank. So the banking family are the one who created the nation of Israel, the fake nation. So let me read from Revelation 9:12. One war is past, and behold, there come 2 wars more hereafter. So today I am talking about the second war, and we are going to see how all of these wars, starting from the French Revolution, the revolution which happened in Russia, America Civil War, World War I, World War II, and the coming war is all by design. You see, it's like an algorithm. People draw a roadmap to World I, roadmap to the French Revolution, a roadmap to World War II, and there is a roadmap to World War III. What you are waiting right now is for the World War III to happen. So today I'm going to take you to see a few things which happened before World War III happened. World War II happened. You see, few things to understand before any war happened, so that you can be able to discern the time when you see those things come to pass again, because there is no new thing under the earth. when you see those things come to pass again, then you know we are heading, or we are one step closer to WW2, because all things, all important things, all important pressure points are in place. Like now, alliance has been drawn. We know who is who will be against who. We know technology, hot air command. They have there in America hot capability. When we talk about this fighter jet, hot capability that China have, hot capability that Russia have, NATO. We all know all of those things, like how it happened in WW2. If we didn't know in WW2, Japan was the strongest military here on earth. Even the Americans, they won that war strategically. If the Japanese army could have obtained the first nuclear bomb, America could be a Westland right now. But that's why you know it was the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He made America to rise in power through WW2. So this is Ecclesiastic 1 and 9. The things that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the earth, under the sun. So what happened during WW2, the same thing is happening now. That's why the scriptures tell you, study to show that you are self-approved. Study to show you are self-approved, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Why? Because if you study what happened before WW2, you will be able to understand certain things, certain important factors. You see, if you understand those factors, you will be able to measure the time diligently. And to be even with much understanding on what is going now. People struggle with prophecy. Why? Because they don't have they don't have that knowledge on how things work concerning prophecy and the history. History and the prophecy goes hand in hand. You see, that's why you see people struggle. That you will see it will happen maybe after 50 years, 40 years. Why? Because those people, they really don't know what the hell is going on, man. They don't study. On top of that, they don't have faith, man. I see. So from there, let's go back to Japanese. Japanese was the strongest army at that time. They used to call them people who strike from the rising sun. They called them the Imperial Japanese. They wanted to annex the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean, hand in hand with Hitler. So Hitler wanted to conquer Russia, and the Japanese wanted to conquer the Pacific. So at the time Hitler is conquering Russia, and he is passing through the Atlantic Ocean, the Japanese is the Pacific Ocean, so they meet on the American land. And the countries of Europe, those people in Europe, they are very afraid of Germany and Japan, and the Japanese. But as the Lord at that time, the Lord had his plan, man. His plan was to make America a superpower, man. That's why the technology of the nuclear missile came in. You see. So this is some 33 and 16 is, there is no king saved by the multitude of the host, a mighty man is not delivered by much strength. So this goes back during the time of WW2. When you examine history, the odds were on Germany and Japanese and Japan, you see, but the table turned on the last minutes after the Lord gave the Edomite the technology of the nuclear missiles, man. So after that, all nations they feared the America. You see. Let's go back. Let's go to this verse here. Let's see. So this is Revelation 13, starting at verse 7. And it was given to him to make war. What was given to him? It was given to him a power, man. You see, from the Lord himself. That's why when you go to history, historian tell you it was one step for the Japanese to win that war and the German, but at the last minutes the tables turned, man. Because why? Because that was the will of Yahweh, and that's why you know the Lord is in control. As a matter of fact, let me go to Daniel, then we'll come back. So this is Daniel 4 and 17. This is the matter. This matter is by the degree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, man. So who are the watchers, man? Starting by the angels, then the elect, man, or the prophet, man. We are the watchers, man. See, that's why we telling you America won that war. It was all by design, man. It was orchestrated. Going back to that word destiny, man. The Lord is the house of destiny. But Esau, he tell you he is the house of his own destiny. He don't know that the Lord control everything here on earth, man. He himself, he acknowledges that Japan was the strongest army at that time, and they have their submarine. They have the biggest ship at that time. And what happened to that ship? It was destroyed by suicide. The Americans, they used a warplane. They sacrificed their soldiers so that they can get that big ship, that Japanese big ship. So it was all by design, man. And when you go back and examine what happened before, you see Esau wanted that war. You see, the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whosoever he will, and sees up over and settles up over it is the basis of men. So you see, so it is all by design, man. So Esau is doing his sin, being controlled by our Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So let's repeat here, Revelation 13 and 7. It was given to him to make war with the saint, to overcome them, and the power was given him of all kindred. So after WW3, that's where Esau was the red horse. He got his big hammer, man. He unleashed that big. He used that big hammer well, man. You see, and the tongues in the nation. You see. And let's jump to verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. That's talking about America. He exercised the power of the first beast, which is the Roman Empire, man, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, who dealt wound was healed. And he does great wonder, so that he makes fire come down from heaven. So it was prophesied that America will possess the nuclear missiles, man. That's that fire coming from heaven. We go back to what we call the Manhattan Project. And that project, when you listen to that project, it was done in a hurry, man. Why? Because at that time the Japanese
they were annexing the Pacific Ocean. They were near to reach the American mainland. So they came together, they created what we call Manhattan Project. They came with a weapon to put fear on the nations, man. So all of this was prophecy, man. Fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Going back to the Manhattan Project, after they finished to make that bomb, they put it far on. Let's say what can I use here? They put it far from somewhere. They tied it somewhere above the height of the ground, and they released it. They couldn't believe how much power that nuclear bomb released. But nevertheless, because the Japanese, they wanted to conquer the earth, they didn't stop. No? They got the message that the Americans have perfected a deadly bomb. But hey, man, Moab was very proud. The scripture tells you that the Moabite, Ammon, the Ammonite and the Moabite, all of them are very proud. Man. You see, the Ammonites, they didn't want to hear anything. So, according to Esau, he was left without a choice. So he had to drop those bombs to stop the Japanese. But through the spirit of Yahweh, we know Esau he symbolizes death, man. Esau is that pale horse. Esau is that red horse. He was given to take peace from west, man. How do you know that he was left without choice? Esau wanted to drop that bomb, man, and that's it. So from here, let's go and watch that video, then we'll come back.
And I know this is true because the CIA reliably told all of us that in 1967 when they were trying to debunk the emerging conspiracy theories about the Kennedy assassination. And of course, there could never be a conspiracy theory. I agree. It's just a conspiracy fact. And we're going to talk about that in relationship to Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy, and false flag attacks. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host of The Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. And we are brought to you by Patriot Flashlight. Shines for miles. 4 different settings. One will give you a strobe for emergency, cut you out of seatbelts, breaks glass, solar powered, never need batteries. Charge your phone. Holds the charge forever in a day, plus several days. For a complete description of everything this low-cost product can do, which should be part of everyone's preparation kit, go to patriotflashlight.com and use the coupon code Hodges20 for 20% off. That link is also...
Esau is very calm, man. He knows what is coming because Esau likes to study fact. He studies the fact of concerning history. You see, and he saw what he is seeing now is what happened many times in history when this big nation want to go to war. The thing which happened now, they happened. So through that history, Esau, in the spirit, he understands that what you see is coming. That's why he is prepping. Because Esau is very carnal, man. He is prepping all of this bag out kit or whatever, how to store food and whatever, man. Because Esau, he knows his kingdom is about to end, man. Nevertheless, that is not the topic of this subject. Let's continue.
In the description box following this broadcast at patriotflashlight.com, coupon code Hodges20. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my father, as a young ensign, was laying fake radar in Pearl Harbor 2 weeks before the attack. It was part of the McCollum 8-point plan, and I won't go through all 8 points, but the McCollum 8-point plan basically said this: we need war with Japan because fleeing Jewish German scientists are telling us that the Nazis are working on bombs.
You see, so the top elite of these Jews who lived in Japan, in Germany, because at that time Hitler, he was killing them because Hitler knew they were the devils the Bible speaks of. So they coerced the government of America to make the first nuclear bomb. While there in Japan, they were buying time because Hitler told them to build the first nuclear bomb, and they were buying time. They were stalling, so to speak, so that the American can make the first bomb. And as a condition that they are given the nation of Israel, which was the Palestinian nation at that time. That's why the government of America, they coerced or they forced the British government to come into an agreement, what we call the Balfour Declaration today. So it was all by design, man. There is no new thing under the earth, man. And what is going now, it's all by design, man. This trade war, that's all by design. All of these nations, this top government officials in all of these nations, the Moabite nation, the Ammonite nation, the Esau's nation, the African nation, they serve the same master, man. Because this earth was given to the hand of the wicked. All of these presidents, they do the bidding of the elite, man. It is all by design, man.
Can destroy cities. And this was the birth of the Manhattan Project, but we didn't have hardly any idea.
See, I went through all of that, man, as a Manhattan Project. In a guise that Germany wanted to possess a nuclear weapon. So the Edomites in America, they came in a hurry and they created what we call the Manhattan Project. So that hey, man, let's continue.
What we were doing, and we had to quickly get in the war so we could beat Germany to the punch. And isn't it interesting that even though Japan attacks us on December 7th, on December 8th, we also declared war on Germany? Why? It doesn't make any sense, except when you understand Japan was the entry into the war. So we provoked through the McCollum 8-point plan, violating territorial waters, trade embargoes, and the whole 9 yards, kind of like what we're doing with China today. We basically tried to get the Japanese
so what he is trying to tell you here, his father was among of the group which they contributed to the Pearl Harbor attack. What they did is they hung flag so that the Japanese can see those flags and know that there is the American submarine here, the American Navy is here. Let's go and attack. That's where they attacked Pearl Harbor, man. So to put it simple, the American army put a bait to Japan so that they can attack Pearl Harbor, man. That's why it is called an inside job. So Esau wanted that war, man. Esau is a devil. We tell you, Esau is a devil. He wanted that war so that he can drop a nuclear bomb over there in Japan. That's why when I was telling you that Esau says that they had no choice but to drop bombs on Japan, that is a lie, man. Don't listen to Esau. Esau is a lie. He was born to speak lie, man. That's why he is referred symbolically to as a serpent, man. Why? Because the serpent is very subtle, man, a subtle creature. Esau is very cunning, man.
Attack us, and it finally worked. So on December 7th, 8 a.m., actually more accurately 7:55 a.m., the Japanese circled their planes out to the east of the island and then flew in from the east, the land of the rising sun. They love to attack out of the rising sun, and that they did.
I told you they called themselves the land of the rising sun, man. Japan, it was a powerful force back then, man. You people who think that Esau can't go down, and you don't know history, man. You don't know there were other countries which were very powerful, man, beside the Edomite, man. But the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is Esau now. He was set up to rule. It is not because he's so powerful, no. It is the will of Yahweh Hashem by the decree of the watchers, man. You see? So that you can know ya hawa Bahashemi washai rule the kingdom of men. If you examine WW2, you will know how the Lord worked, man. You see, America was about to be invaded, but at the last minute, the Lord turned the table, man.
Killed over 2,300 sailors. They sunk several ships. But the conspiracies line up like no one's business into conspiracy facts. Let's go back almost 3 days earlier. A merchant marine ship spotted the Japanese fleet. Morse code, ... Japanese fleet, as they were turning south towards Pearl Harbor, right near the Aleutian Islands. They had that information. Oh, we claim not to have received it until an hour after the attack. Right. Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's go to the next scenario. The aircraft carriers, which you can't carry on at that time a long-distance war using planes without aircraft carriers, and our 4 major aircraft carriers were conveniently out to sea when the attack came. We knew. The ships that were primarily left at Pearl Harbor.
So Esau is telling you the American army, they had this aircraft carrier on a stakeout in case there is any attack, and they saw the Japanese going to attack Pearl Harbor and they didn't say anything. So they set a bait. First, they had people there to raise the flag so that the Japanese army can see there is an American navy here. That was number one bait. The second bait was there were aircraft carrier on a stakeout to see the Japanese army coming so that they can blow Pearl Harbor. And the Esau, like then he declared war to Japan. What make you think it won't happen again?
Were Spanish-American war vessels like the Arizona. They were obsolete. And this is where my dad comes in. He was part of a team that hung fake radar. That stories aren't there. It's just a lot of people don't know. Happens that a guy named Hodges was involved in laying this radar. And they would wire up the mast, and they'd drop the cords into the combat.
I say the flag, it is ladder. I talk about that. They hang a fake ladder so that the Japanese can see there is an American navy here on Pearl Harbor. And they turned and went south. At that time, the American aircraft carrier were on stakeout, monitoring the Japanese. Those are going south. They're going south. They didn't do anything to stop them or whatever. They didn't do that, man. So that was a bait, so that Esau can declare war to the Japanese. This is how we tell you Esau is the devil, man. He let his own thing be destroyed so that he can declare war. That's where false flag came in.
Information center, and they never hook it up. They never made the internal changes. Why? Because they knew they were being spied on, and they wanted to create the impression we're getting all our ships ready to go to war. More of a provocation towards the Japanese. Now, going back to that morning of the 7th, there was another event. And the event was this. A destroyer off the coast of Pearl Harbor sighted a Japanese 2-man submarine. Whoa, wait a minute. The 2-man submarines would have been used in an attack like this to shoot holes and take down the netting that protected from released torpedoes from dive bomber planes or dive torpedo planes. They would drop the torpedoes. They would run several feet underwater, and as they slowly hit the ship underneath the water line, it would cause the maximum damage and cause the ships to sink faster. Well, that net was designed to be somewhat of an obstacle, but if you can destroy the netting, with torpedoes for these 2-man submarines. Also, anyone that makes a run for it and actually gets out of Pearl Harbor can actually be fired upon with torpedoes from a 2-man submarine. The problem is that two-man submarine didn't get there on its own. It had to come with a much larger vessel. Generally, it would have been an attack vessel, probably large cruiser, and most people would agree it was probably from a battleship. And they released these two-man submarines to do their thing. Well, when this submarine was sunk, word was sent to Pearl Harbor and then passed on to the White House. They didn't act on it. You're mistaken. And then afterwards, when they had the court-martial of Admiral Kimmel and General Short, the two commanders at Pearl Harbor, Navy and Army respectively, they said that there's no proof that there was a two-man submarine sunk. And they were right until the 1980s, where the sub was found and surfaced. And it was like, uh-oh, this submarine, two-man submarine, was sunk 2 hours before the attack. Plenty of time to get the ships out to sea.
So another thing to add is that, yes, the Japanese attacked the Pearl Harbor, but Esau attacked the first 2 hours before. So he put all the blame to Japan, man.
Get the planes in the air. Oh, but speaking of the planes, from the order of the Pentagon via the White House, the planes at Hickam Field were to be lined up in a straight line. What? Are you kidding me? A straight line? I mean, one Japanese plane going down Hickam Field could take out a whole row of planes. You go to bases today, they're all staggered. It also makes them harder to get into formation to take off. So there was virtually almost no air cover at the time of the attack. These planes couldn't be properly scrambled. They were like shooting fish in a barrel. That's like President Kennedy when he went into Dealey Plaza and he's the lead car against all Secret Service protocols. Same deal. And then there's another element. We had radar, crude by today's standards, but we still had radar at Pearl Harbor. It was on the east end of Oahu. And they picked up massive amounts of planes flying in. Now, the signature for a Japanese plane, small fighter, torpedo plane, dive bomber, much smaller than a B-17. Yet when they called this in and it went to San Diego, then it went to Washington, they said, oh, no, don't worry, those are B-17s coming in from San Diego. There was no such departure. This was a setup. And this is going to shock you. Part of me, a big part of me, agrees with President Roosevelt's decision to do this, to shock an unwilling public that wanted isolationism into wanting revenge. I think Roosevelt did the right thing. If we hadn't entered the war when we did, who knows how far the German war machine would have extended. Could they have linked up with the Japanese? Because Merrill's Marauders will stop them in Burma.
And the aim was the Japanese and the German to link or to meet in America.
Very possibly.
That's why Esau, he talked about blaming his government that they use the nuclear weapon, but deep down in their mind they know what could have happened if they didn't drop bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan could have won that war. But that's why I tell you it is all the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Additionally, if the Germans engage in developing the nuclear bomb before we do, they had two-stage rockets not much later. They could have struck cities in the eastern United States. This would have been devastating. We would have lost the war. And if you've ever seen the TV show, The Man in the High Castle, if you go back to the first couple of episodes, you get an idea of what life would have been like in the United States following a defeat to the Axis.
And America was able to avoid being nuked during WW2 because they came first, being victory in the race of making this nuclear war. Back then, these other nations, they didn't have a nuclear weapon. And this dude is telling you, he is pointing to a movie and telling and showing you America could have been a desert, man. That's true, and that's what is coming, man. That's what is coming. Let's go on to this. So this is Ecclesiastic 27 and 24. I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Who casteth a stone on high, cast it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make a wound. Who digs a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. So verse 25, it tells you who casts a stone on high, casts it on his own head, and that stone going back into these different wars, man. The sword in which Esau was given, man, that big hammer, he cast it to these different nations, man, and he breaks them into pieces, man. The same stone will be used on him. Who casts the stone on high, it will be cast on his own head. Going back to Revelation, man. Going back to Revelation 17. Going back to Revelation 17. This is Revelation 18 and 21. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and going back to those nuclear missiles, man. The same stone he cast into this other nation, it will be cast into him. The same stone he used during World War I and World War II, man. He cast it into this other nation, and from World War II onward, it was a war on terror, man. Esau going here, Esau going to Vietnam, Esau going here, Venezuela, Cambodia, and whatever, man. He's conquering, man. Casting stone, man. Casting that stone, man. Going back to these different wars, man. The same stone will be cast into him, man. Going back to these nuclear missiles, man. At that time, Esau, he was happy that he got the nuclear missiles. At first, he can impose his will to this other nation, but the same milestone, it will be cast to him, man. Let me repeat, and the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it to the sea, saying thus, with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. And this is why we say America is Babylon. We didn't just wake up on the morning and come up with that breakdown, man. You see, there are core foundations which made us say that America is Babylon, man. You see, be thrown down and shall be found no more at all, man. Why is the angel casting a millstone into the sea, which is symbolic for America? Because America themselves, they cast the same stone to this other nation, man. That stone will return to them even thousandfold, man. You see, and the light of the candle shine no more at all in thee. The voice of bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more all in thee. For thy merchant were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorcerer were all nations deceived thee. You see, and in her was found the blood of the prophet and the saint, and all that were slain upon the earth. You see, going back to here, man. Going back to Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horn which is also is upon the beast, this shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. With the nuclear missiles. Going back to that Edomite was saying, if the Japanese could have got the first nuclear weapon, America could have turned into a desert. See, going back to the devil, the rulership of the devil being prolonged for a season. Let me find that. So this is going to Revelation 20 and they cast him to a bottomless pit, and they shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nation no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosened for a little season. going back to WW3, this other nation, the nation of the East, could have won WW3. That's lucky. I keep on mixing. This nation of the East could have won WW2, man. They could have perfected the nuclear missile first and blown America out of the face of the earth, man. Like how that Edomite was telling you. He went on to the conspiracy theory concerning Pearl Harbor and how the America they designed that attack. And at the end of the video, he said, part of me agree with the America dropping bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Why? Because if the Japanese or the Germany could have got at first those bombs, they could have blown up America out of the face. But that was not the time, because the devil was using to rule for a little season, like how Revelation 23 tell you. So with this, I hope you brothers are edified. Amen. This was a remake of WW2, and this is the same thing will happen during WW3. So with this, I'll say shalom until the next.